Hi, I'm Susan Felio Price. The thing I believe that was the first catalyst of my love of music was when I was 5, my daddy bought me a record player. And I do believe for the next 10 years, not many people saw me because I was in my bedroom 45s. My first 45 was Bobby Vinton. And oh my God, I love Bobby Vinton. And then every time I had money, I would go and buy another 45 to play. But also my dad was a very big influence too, because he sang around my house. He was a Christian man, and he was a born again Christian. And he would praise God, and he would sing all around our house. And he was always whistling. He whistled everywhere. And so he not only introduced me, I think, to music, but also my strong, intimate relationship with God. And so that means the world to me. And when I was a little girl, we lived in Houma. Well, first off, I was born in Houma, and then we moved to New Orleans on St. Anne Street. And right before school, I think we moved back to Houma. But during that little small time, I can still remember sitting on a stoop of St. Anne Street and hearing the sounds of the French Quarter and hearing the music. And I would just sit out there for hours and hours just listening. You know, and that was back in the day. You could keep a kid on a stoop and nobody stole them. But so that influenced me greatly. And then when we moved back home, we didn't have a radio in our car. There was also a big hole in the back floorboard that I would sing and watch the road go by me. But my dad would whistle. We would go visit my Aunt Frances in New Orleans like every weekend almost, and he would whistle, and I would sing the songs, and I sang Tammy Wynette and Loretta Lynn and Brenda Lee and, you know, all of that. And one of my dad's favorites was Johnny Horton, so I was into Johnny Horton. I mean, there were so many different things. But also at this time, my grandmother was a big Blu-ray player, and she had all these old lady friends, and every weekend that I wasn't in New Orleans, I was with my grandmother, who was we called her Tante Vi. She was the card reader on East Park, the Eshday house. So anybody that's familiar with Carol Eshday and all those guys, like such a great music family, just like the Wells brothers. They just grew up in music. And I was supposed to be sleeping on a pallet by the card table, and the boys were practicing music, you know, in another area, and my grandma was always looking for me because I was like right at the door listening, you know, so I got that influence as well. And I was always a kid since I'm like 5, like I am a person who has to write out my emotions. That's my greatest therapy, is that whatever I feel in my heart, in order to get rid of that pain, I have to write it out. Or if I'm angry, or if I'm in love, or whatever it is, I write it out. I used to write little love notes to my parents. Or I'm sorry, you know, I would like tell on myself, I'd tattoo on myself, I'm sorry, but it was me that did this. Leaving little notes all over. So that kind of really, all of those things kind of mixed in to the beginning of me becoming a writer. I started writing poetry, and that was how I got things out. And then when I was 15, I wrote my first song. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, I'd sing it, whatever. But I couldn't play music. I couldn't play a guitar. I couldn't play an instrument. I could write the words. Might get a little soft-hearted here. And so I got married. I met my husband when I was 14, got married at 16. At 24, I had 4 little babies. And so my music always took a back seat until I ran into these guys: Sonny Cunningham, Sonny Fox, Clyde Pellegrin, Percy Bergeron, and little Jason Eshday from the Eshday family, Tante Vi. And we started kind of recording some of my early stuff. But that's when Clyde and I got to be such great friends. And so that was so amazing for me. But then, unfortunately, we lost Sonny right after he was on his way home from a gig. And an interesting thing happened by losing him. Because Clyde started playing his music in a church. Percy Bergeron started playing his music in a different church. I joined the praise and worship group in a different church. And we all started doing our music for God. And it took a very long time to get out of the secular, to go back into the secular world of music, because losing Sonny was a big hit. At that time, Sonny had taught me 3 chords on my guitar. He helped me pick out both of my guitars. And he taught me G, A, and D. And that's all I could play for a lot of years. And you'd be amazing how many songs you can write with just G, A, and D. And I did that, but we kind of, we all went our separate ways throughout the time period. Now, when I got married, Richard Toops' Madonna played at my wedding, 45 years ago. He was good friends with my brother. My brother, my hero, hired the best band around to play at my wedding. And so that's when I originally met Richard. And then, so through the years, I just kept writing. But I really couldn't play a lot of chords, just those 3. At that point, I needed something desperately to fill. I'd raised my kids and like empty nest syndrome. That like, now what do I do? And God is so on time and so good, because He sent Richard Toops back into my life. And he told me that he was still playing music. And I'm not an alcohol drinker, but I love music. Like, my mama loved music. My dad loved music. That was my whole world, was really music. My mom loved music so much. Like, my mom and dad did CBs back in the CB days. My dad his handle was Big Nutra, but my mama's name was Boogie Midnight Mama, because she loved to dance and she loved music. So all these things had brought me to where I was, but I was longing for something. And so I started, because I wanted to go dance and I wanted to go listen to live music, but I was frightened. I mean, I'm a single woman. I'm out in the world, But I felt comforted because Richard's my friend, and he's not going to let nothing happen to me. And then I go and listen to Richard, and then there's Clyde, and I'm like, well, for sure, I'm covered. I'm good. And so that started happening, and then this amazing thing for my class reunion, all of my most favorite musicians came together and formed a band called Moss Point. I had a little bit to do with that, huh, Clyde? Just say yes, Clyde. Just say yes. But I started following them and became friends with their partners. And so now I could say, like, hey, I'm with the band. I can come in here. I'm with the band. And they all knew that I loved to write, but I don't think they knew how it lived in me for so many years dormant. And I had so much to say in song, and I wanted to share it. And I would always tell, for a long time I kept telling Pershing, there's going to come a day that I'm gonna come and see you, because I've sent people to Pershing to have their stuff recorded. And I never could afford to do it. And I felt so blessed to be a part of them and their partners, and we have this amazing, God put us all together, absolutely. This amazing group of, we're a music family, and that's every bit as binding. Any musician will understand that. Every bit as binding as blood, because we all understand each other. You see, in a family, you're going to have different people, and they're all different. No 2 children are the same when you have a family. But in a music family, regardless the genre they play, they have that same heart. They have, God is our ultimate creator. And He blessed us to be creators. How powerful is that? So the fact that I can create this, and it's a part of me, it's a part of me. It's like when I give you my song and I let you hear my song, I'm sharing me with you. I'm sharing my heart. And so when Shane Robichaux came into my life. I mean, I fought him like hell because I didn't want a boyfriend. This man has blessed my life in so many ways. He's become my best friend, and he's become my biggest fan. And he pushes me and encourages me and helps me to believe in myself. So he helped me make the decision to get with Pershing and to get with Moss Point, and all the people that I've had come together with me to finally, after all these years, you know, before it was my kids had to come first, and this had to come first. And now it's my music and my friends and my family, of course. But Moss Point, you know, Pershing Wells, Richard Toops, Clyde Pellegrin, Jody Knockhand, Kirk Menard, even Vicky did, you know, percussion on some of the songs that we're recording right now. And April Wells and Darlene, I mean, Clyde's girlfriend, and Lisa, Jody's girlfriend, like and Sharon, that's part of my heart. 'Cause she grounds me. She's my ground. I'm blessed. But to have all of these people come together for me and to love what I do it's gold, man. And to be able to do what I love other than my family, and it's just I'm finally finding me. You know, I really, really am, and it's through these people. They're my lifeline right now. I mean, and what we're creating is really, truly beautiful. And it's not because I write it. It's just I'm a storyteller. And to be able to tell my stories is amazing. And I just wouldn't have it any other way. And like I said, again, the thought that our God would make me a creator, not just of life and having babies, but music, which we know God loves music. I mean, he created it. So just to have that and all these people surrounded by me, and to be living my dream, I'm about to be 62 years old. It's never, ever, ever too late to do what's in your heart and to follow your passion. So I know I'm kind of a little crybaby and I get a little passionate about things, but that's how I roll. And I love you guys. God bless. And we're just stay tuned. Stay tuned for our first CD. It's going to be coming pretty soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye.